how to register on eToro step by step. First of all, we're here on the page. Remember that I'll leave the link in the video description so you can come and register. And once you're here, you can change the language if you want, because maybe you don't understand English very well, or maybe it loaded in another language, so you can choose Spanish. And over here, well, it's going to be finishing loading. Once we're here, we're going to start registering. We click where it says join Toro, or it may be that the page that I left you appears differently and it says register. I'm going to try to leave you the same one so you can access it. So we click on join eToro, or I'll just give you the link to the form so you can register. Once you're here, we can start registering. First, we need our email address, a username, and a password. So we start by putting an email that can be at Gmail, at Hotmail, at whatever you want. So we're going to put it here. I'm going to put an email that I have and we'll put it here. Alright, now for the username. This can really be whatever you want. It automatically generates one based on your email, but in my case, I'm going to set it up this way, and it shows up like this. Now we also have to assign a password that has 8 to 32 letters and numbers, upper and lowercase letters and a symbol, either a numeral or a hashtag, whatever you want to call it, a $sign and an I. We can put that in there. So we enter the password, and in this case, I'm just missing that symbol. Let's see which one we can use. Alright, that's done. As you can see, it shows a check mark for what's missing. We have the right number of characters, we have uppercase and lowercase letters, and the symbol. Now we click to accept the terms and conditions, and I agree that information will be used depending on the country you're in. You'll see options like eToro, eToro UK, eToro Seychelles, and other places where they are regulated. So in this case, we'll be accepting the terms for eToro, Seychelles, and then we click on where it says create an account. And just like that, the account will be created. You might think it's that quick, but I've tried other brokers, and it's super slow. Yes, but it's not that we've fully created the account yet. We have a way to log in, but now we need to gather some data to fully activate our account. Now, let's go to where it says let's go. And here it starts asking us for the information. Let's go to where it says let's go there. And now it's starting to ask us for the information. So, what's our legal name? What is our gender? What's our date of birth? So we're going to start filling this out, and we're going to put any name really because this is just kind of an example for you. So, if you don't have a middle name, just put your last name. Rodrigo. And here in the sex we put male in this case, and the date of birth we can put anyone who is of legal age in your country. In the vast majority of Latin Americans 18 years old, then we put January 24th, 1992, from 1992. For example, and we click next, here it starts charging you then. What is your address and country of residence? This is important, but wait, hold on. Don't enter it yet. What you're going to do is go to your bank account, and get a document from that account. Check what address is listed as your residence. Or if you want, you can also look for a bill, like a phone bill or something from the internet, because later on, they're going to ask for it. But here's the thing. The address you put here must match the address on the bill or document that we're going to send later. So in this case, we can put any address. For example, let's say Carrera like this. I'll leave it at that. And here it says I need to enter the portal number, my city, and the postal code. So let's put it like this. And for the number, we'll put 25. And for the city, in my case, we'll put J. That's how it looks for now. Now, you really need to put the address exactly as it is, and I recommend doing this. In some countries, the naming conventions or addresses might change, and everyone writes it differently. In Colombia, for example, it works like this. Suppose it's the same as putting Carrera, but it might say AR on your bill instead of Carrera. So what you do is write Care instead of Carrera, because if you don't, when you send the documentation, they'll tell you that the addresses don't match. This is because in the United States, the UK, Seychelles, or wherever they verify it, it doesn't work the same way, and they won't understand. Then it says, it's the country of my nationality where I was born. If not, uncheck it. If maybe you're living in Colombia but you were born in Russia, then you put that here. Then, I'm not a US person, and I wasn't born in the United States. It's important that you check this and be honest, because if not, you might be subject to certain taxes. So in our case, we are not. We click next, and here it's going to load asking for our passport number. And this is to verify our identity. So we need to put the number. I'm just going to put any number here, honestly, so I can click next and keep showing you what comes up. Then over here, we have a questionnaire. That's going to help you. Well, it's going to help Toro. More like figuring out what level of investor you are. whether you've invested before or not, if you have experience or not. And based on this, they might send you some emails or messages recommending some education, some courses that they offer. So, well, it says there, how many times have you traded stocks or ETFs? Less than 10, from 10 to 20, more than 20. For us, more than 20. How many times have you traded cryptocurrencies? Let's put it here from 10 to 20 and we'll hit next. Once we hit next, it says, how many trades have you made using leverage? So this is trades with CFDs, options, currencies, etc. during the last year. So in this case, let's say we haven't done it, that we haven't used leverage. Also remember that this questionnaire, in fact, it says here, will determine the products they can offer us. If we haven't done it, the leverage they offer us will probably be very low, or they might not offer us leverage at all. Let's hit next. And over here, it says, how have you been educated about leveraged products, CFD futures? So if I have any kind of certification, if I have an academic degree, if I have a trading course, or if I don't have any training in this at all, let's go with that. We hit next. It says, we would like to assess your level of understanding. So it says, check the correct statements. Invest $1,000 with 20x leverage for. Well, these are general questions. We're not going to get too caught up in this. You might get some questions. You just answer it and hit next. Once we have answered, we will select your interests to personalize your experience. So what do we want to invest in? In stocks, in indices, in cryptocurrencies, commodities, currencies. On this occasion, I will only leave stocks and indexes to see what appears later. How long do you plan to maintain this copy operation? This is in case we do copy trading, which is to copy other investors. And we can leave it for just a few seconds or a few weeks. Few months depends on you. Let's leave it for several months, years. We hit next. Remember that the information I'm putting in is fictional, because it's not even me. I'm just showing you. How will I be able to register you? And what I select isn't necessarily what you should select, because this really depends more on your situation, like how you're investing, if you've invested before, or if you have any education in investing or not. Says which of the following options? How would you best describe your main goal for investing with us? If we want short-term returns, additional income, future planning, or saving to buy a house. Let's go with additional income. In our case, remember, in your case, you can put something else. Next, how much do we plan to deposit in our account? Let's say between $20,000 and $50,000. And it says throughout this year. Remember, it's not like we're thinking 10 years from now, specifically this year. And we're going to hit next when we've already read next, he says. Which risk-reward ratio best describes your expectations? So we can win 80% but also lose 80%. We can win 40% but also lose 20%, or we prefer to win a little and lose a little. So that really depends. Let's put this one over here, and for example, they put that there. The thing is, I hope to gain up to $40,000 while risking the same $40,000. This is having a high level of risk, in this case. Let's hit next. And then it says, I do some of the members of my immediate family. We are a shareholder manager, an employee of a brokerage firm, a stock exchange, or a high-level public official. And, in my case, I don't identify with any of these statements. So, what are your main sources of funding? In other words, where do you get the money to deposit into eToro? I'm going to put salary, investments, savings, and that's it. What is your main occupation? Here we need to put what we do for a living. We are going to put public relations and the name of our employer, that is, our company, for which we work. If we don't work for any company, let's just put our own name. So here it was Rodrigo, what we put at the beginning, and that's it. Now, what is our annual income level? So, how much can we potentially earn annually? Let's put it between $50,000 and $200,000. And what is your total cash and liquid assets? The money you have right now that you can withdraw, you can take out and spend on whatever you want. Let's also go from $200,000 to $500,000 and hit next. All right, we're almost done here. It says, CFDs are not suitable for you. So based on this, it says, based on the information you have provided us, it is unlikely that you fully understand the risks associated with complex products. And as such, the CFD products offered on our platform are not appropriate for you. We recommend that you seriously consider whether you wish to proceed with investing in these types of products. CFDs are complex instruments and come with a high risk of losing money rapidly due to leverage. Then, if you decide to continue and open an account with us, you confirm that you are aware of and understand the risks involved. If after considering this, you still want to proceed, we urge you to only do so after you have finished. So, getting familiar with the virtual platform and reviewing the educational material and our risk disclosure. You might also be interested in seeking independent advice. Does this mean we won't be able to invest in CFDs? No, but they are telling us that, according to our level of knowledge, according to the survey, we do not meet the level to properly invest in CFS. Let's go ahead and hit confirm, and now, it's asking us to start investing. Depending on the country you are in, the first deposit can be as low as $150 or as low as $200. And starting with the second deposit, the minimum is usually $50. Your first deposit must exceed $200. Starting from the second, it's $50. You can deposit $50. That's the minimum. When it comes to investing, when it comes to depositing, we have several things that we get. First, we need to get a checkmark on the bill, confirming that we are indeed investors, just like that. Then, we're going to remove the deposit limitations. That is, as you can see, here we are allowed to invest €2,000 with our first deposit, but from then on we are not allowed to invest more. If we don't make this first deposit, we won't be able to make quicker withdrawals. We can either go ahead and make a deposit or head over to this section that says complete the verification, which we're going to do, and you probably have thought about it. No, but I've already finished this verification, and really, no. Why? Because if you notice, here we've had a percentage that tells us what level of, let's say, completion we're at. We're taking this form. We're missing 20%. The 20% is basically the only thing we have left to do, the last part. Let's put any number here and see if it asks us for a code. I think it is going to ask us for a code. Let's take a look. No, in fact, it's not letting us because it's asking for a code. So I'm going to put a phone number here so I can get a code. And when I get it, we'll continue with this. Alright, once we enter our phone number, we move on to the next step, and it's the proof of identity. What does this mean? We need to verify our identity with a passport or an ID document. The passport, well, that's the one we use to travel around the world. The ID document can be from your country. If you are in Mexico, the INE or the IFE. In Chile and Colombia, the ID card. And in several countries also called the cédula or the DNI, the national identity document. You upload it here. And that's it. Then it asks you for different documents. But let's leave it here for now. Basically, it's going to ask for a bank statement and a bill from some service, like internet or something similar. The rest isn't going to ask you for anything else. Now, what happens? Maybe you'll send these documents, and it still shows that verification is pending and that they'll verify it in a few days. And it turns out that time goes by, and time goes by, and time goes by, and they still haven't verified them. So, to speed this up, what you can do is make a first deposit. I recommend that you do it for the minimum. Later on, he will upload a video on how to make deposits within eToro. You can do it, for example, for €200, which is the minimum they ask for. Once you make the deposit, it will speed up. The verification of your account happens because when you deposit, they realize that you are a real person who wants to invest in eToro. And once they verify you, then you can start depositing more. Everything is verified, your documents and all. But basically, this is the whole process you need to follow to register on eToro.